Hello and welcome back to the Wheel Order channel. Today I'm going to be making a delicious Scottish Christmas plum pudding. Now this is such an easy recipe to make. Traditionally this recipe would have included a lot more ingredients and it would have been a very rich dessert. And there were so many ingredients in some of the older recipes that you literally had to be quite well off to make these rich puddings. They were rich in the sense that they were rich in flavour, but also rich, you had to be rich to eat them as well. So it's a really easy recipe. You can grab it on my website as well. It's angiemilne.com. So let's get started on our traditional Scottish Christmas plum pudding. So for this Christmas plum pudding, you're going to need 120 grams of self-raising flour, 1 teaspoon of nutmeg, a teaspoon of cinnamon, a teaspoon of ground cloves, 1 teaspoon of mixed spice, 120 grams caster sugar, 120 grams of suet, 120 grams of currants, 120 grams of sultanas, 60 grams of mixed peel, 120 grams of grated carrot, that's about 2 medium carrots, juice of 1 lemon, 2 tablespoons of milk and 2 medium eggs, and if you whisk the eggs up lightly as well, that makes it a little bit easier. So we're going to start this recipe with all the flour in our bowl, and we're just going to add all of our spices into that flour. We just added in our sugar now, and our suet, and our currants, and sultanas, and our mixed peel, and our grated carrot. And we're just adding the juice of 1 lemon here. I'm just squeezing it through my fingers to catch the seeds. And we're just going to stir this through, and this is a really easy recipe. There's nothing super complicated about this at all. So we're just going to give it a really good stir through, just to ensure that everything is well mixed through before we add in the eggs and the milk. So we're just going to add in our eggs now, and the milk is actually whisked into the eggs as well. So we're just going to stir that through really well, and it's quite a sticky mixture as well. So don't be put off if you think it looks quite sticky, that's completely fine. So we're just greasing off our pudding dish here, and I have a non-stick pudding dish and it works really well. And I just put a piece of greaseproof paper in the bottom as well. I'm going to pour all of the pudding mixture into my steaming dish. My pudding dish, I'm not quite sure what to call it. So just scrape everything out of the bowl and just pop it into your pudding dish. And if we just flatten that down, just so that it's quite even on the surface, and it will rise a bit in the tin as well. So traditionally, if you were using like a plastic pudding dish, you would cover this in paper on the top and some foil, and you would tie a loop handle with string. But I actually have a lid for mine, and I have handles on the side as well. So we're just going to push it shut, and then we're going to pop it into our simmering hot pan of water. Now I'm just putting a plate on the bottom as well, just so that it's right off the bottom of the pan. And we're just going to pour in some water around the side of the pudding, just to top it off a little bit. You don't want the water coming up and over the pudding dish though, because you'll end up with water in the pudding. So just enough to just come right up the side, but no more. And I'm just popping the lid on now as well, and then we're going to steam this for 2.5 to 3 hours, closer to the 3-hour mark. You just want to check it and make sure that it's cooked right through. So we're simmering it away at a medium simmer for that length of time. So once it's ready, if you very carefully
remove the pudding tin from the pan. Now if you're using the paper and string method, you can make a loop with the string so that you can pull your dish out of the pan. I remember my mum making it this way when we were young. So if you just take the lid off your pudding tin, and your pudding should be very well cooked. Now this is quite a light colour, this pudding, so don't be put off. It's quite light in texture compared to some of the heavier ones as well. And it just works really, really well. So there's our plum pudding, and we're just going to peel off the paper on the top as well. Just be careful because it's all really still quite hot. And you can just leave it to dry out, and you can even make this ahead of time as well and just pop it into the oven to warm it up when you're ready to use it. You can soak it in brandy over the course of December. Now I am actually serving my pudding 2 ways, so I did make 2 puddings. The first one I am flaming with brandy, and we have just served as it is, so it's quite a alcohol like rich pudding. So we're warming our brandy on the candle here, and then what we're going to do is light the brandy in the ladle and then pour it over the Christmas pudding. And this is quite impressive on the dinner table, but please do be very careful if there are kids around. So I've just poured it all over my plum pudding. I just love the colour of the flames. It's so, so pretty. So that's my plum pudding all ready to be served, and we've just served this one up with a good dollop of Bailey's salted caramel cream. It was so delicious. I've also sprinkled it with some of my glitter sprinkle as well, which I'm putting on everything just now because I just love that Christmassy glitter. So we served it up with a good dollop of this cream, and it was so, so good. My next pudding I actually am just serving, it's an alcohol-free one, and I'm just serving it with a drizzle of icing over the top. So it looks really, really nice, and I've actually also added some glitter sprinkle into this one as well. So we're just making our icing first, and you just want to get a fairly thick consistency of icing because you don't want it to run right down the sides of the pudding. You just really want it to come down a little bit. So when we're putting the icing on, you can see I'm kind of making it run down slightly in a couple of places just to make it look all pretty. But it's a very thick icing, so it's not running all the way down, but that's exactly what we want. And we're just sprinkling it with my glitter sprinkle now as well. My camera is actually covered in glitter at the moment because I've been sprinkling everything. And we're topping it off with some real holly and berries. And you can make this one a couple of days before Christmas as well. You can make it the night before, or you could even make it on the day. It's such an easy pudding to just make and then have cooking away in the background.
So I hope you enjoyed making your traditional Scottish Christmas plum pudding, and I hope it's one that you'll have at Christmas time. I do actually have some desserts coming out very soon for Christmas pudding alternatives, because not everybody likes all the fruit that's in the puddings at this time of year. So keep your eyes peeled for those, and if you're not subscribed to the channel and you enjoyed this and you want to be kept up to date with my Scottish recipes in future, then please click subscribe, and if you click the little bell next to it, you'll be notified of my new videos coming out. And if you took a photo of your recipe while you were cooking, please feel free to tag me on Instagram. I'd love to share it on my stories as well. So take care, and I will see you all again soon. Lots of love. Bye.